Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hold on, Uncle Joe on. Uncle Joe on.
My fellow Americans, I'm speaking to you tonight from the Oval Office. Before I begin, let me speak to important news from earlier today. After 8 months of nonstop negotiation, my administration, a ceasefire and a hostage deal has been reached by Israel and Hamas, the elements of which I laid out in great detail in May of this year. This plan was developed and negotiated by my team and will be largely implemented by the incoming administration. That's why I told my team to keep the incoming administration fully informed, because that's how it should be, working together as Americans. This will be my final address to you from the American people from the Oval Office, from this desk as president. And I've been thinking a lot about who we are and maybe more importantly, who we should be. Long ago in New York Harbor, an iron worker installed beam after beam, day after day. He was joined by steel workers, stonemasons, engineers. They built not just a single structure, but a beacon of freedom. The very idea of America was so big, we felt the entire world needed to see. The Statue of Liberty, a gift from France after our Civil War. Like the very idea of America, it was built not by one person, but by many people, from every background and from around the world. Like America, the Statue of Liberty is not standing still. Her foot literally steps forward atop a broken chain of human bondage. She's on the march, and she literally moves. She was built to sway back and forth to withstand the fury of stormy weather, to stand the test of time because storms are always coming. She sways a few inches, but she never falls into the current below. An engineering marvel. The Statue of Liberty is also an enduring symbol of the soul of our nation. A soul shaped by forces that bring us together and by forces that pull us apart. And yet through good times and tough times, we've withstood it all. A nation of pioneers and explorers, of dreamers and doers, of ancestors native to this land, of ancestors who came by force, a nation of immigrants who came to build a better life, a nation holding the torch of the most powerful idea ever in the history of the world, that all of us are created equal, that all of us deserve to be treated with dignity, justice, and fairness, that democracy must defend and be defined and be imposed, moved in every way possible. Our rights, our freedoms, our dreams. But we know the idea of America, our institution, our people, our values that uphold it are constantly being tested. Ongoing debates about power and the exercise of power, but whether we lead by the example of our power or the power of our example, whether we show the courage to stand up to the abuse of power or we yield to it. After 50 years at the center of all of this, I know that believing in the idea of America means respecting the institutions that govern a free society, the presidency, the Congress, the courts, a free and independent press, institutions that are rooted, they just might not reflect the timeless words, but they echo the words of the Declaration of Independence. We hold these truths to be self-evident. Rooted in the timeless words of the Constitution, we the people. Our system of separation of powers, checks and balances. It may not be perfect, but it's maintained our democracy for nearly 250 years, longer than any other nation in history that's ever tried such a bold experiment. In the past 4 years, our democracy has held strong. And every day I've kept my commitment to be president for all Americans through one of the toughest periods in our nation's history. I've had a great partner in Vice President Kamala Harris. It's been the honor of my life to see the resilience of essential workers getting us through a once-in-a-century pandemic, the heroism of service members and first responders keeping us safe, the determination of advocates standing up for our rights and our freedoms instead of losing their jobs to an economic crisis that we inherited. Millions of Americans now have the dignity of work. Millions of entrepreneurs and companies creating new businesses and industries, hiring American workers, using American products. And together, we've launched a new era of American possibilities. One of the greatest modernizations of infrastructure in our entire history, from new roads, bridges, clean water, affordable high-speed internet for every American. We invented the semiconductor, smaller than the tip of my little finger, and now is bringing those chip factories and those jobs back to America where they belong, creating thousands of jobs. Finally, giving Medicare the power to negotiate lower prescription drug prices for millions of seniors. And finally, doing something to protect our children and our families by passing the most significant gun safety law in 30 years and bringing violent crime to a 50-year low, meeting our sacred obligation to over 1 million veterans so far who are exposed to toxic materials, and to their families, providing medical care and education benefits and more for their families. You know, it will take time to feel the full impact of all we've done together. But the seeds are planted, and they'll grow and they'll bloom for decades to come. At home, we've created nearly 17 million new jobs, more than any other single administration, a single term. More people have health care than ever before. And overseas, we've strengthened NATO. Ukraine is still free. And we pulled ahead of our competition with China, and so much more. I'm so proud of how much we've accomplished together for the American people. And I wish the incoming administration success, because I want America to succeed. That's why I've upheld my duty to ensure a peaceful and orderly transition of power, to ensure we lead by the power of our example. I have no doubt that America is in a position to continue to succeed. That's why my farewell address tonight, I want to warn the country of some things that give me great concern. This is a dangerous and that's a dangerous concentration of power in the hands of a very few ultra-wealthy people. And the dangerous consequences if their abuse of power is left unchecked. Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights and freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead. We see the consequences all across America, and we've seen it before, more than a century ago. But the American people stood up to the robber barons back then and busted the trusts. They didn't punish the wealthy. They just made the wealthy play by the rules everybody else had to. Workers want rights to earn their fair share. You know, they were dealt into the deal, and it helped put us on a path to building the largest middle class, the most prosperous century any nation in the world has ever seen. And we've got to do that again. In the last 4 years, that is exactly what we've done. People should be able to make as much as they can, but play by the same rules, pay their fair share of taxes. So much is at stake. Right now, the existential threat of climate change has never been clearer. Just look across the country, from California to North Carolina. That's why I signed the most significant climate and clean energy law ever in the history of the world, and the rest of the world is trying to model it now. It's working, creating jobs and industries of the future. Now, we've proven we don't have to choose between protecting the environment and growing the economy. We're doing both. But powerful forces want to wield their unchecked influence to eliminate the steps we've taken to tackle the climate crisis, to serve their own interest for power and profit. We must not be bullied into sacrificing the future of our children and our grandchildren. We must keep pushing forward and push faster. There's no time to waste. It's also clear that American leadership in technology is an unparalleled source of innovation that can transform lives. We see the same dangers of the concentration of technology, power, and wealth. You know, his farewell address, President Eisenhower spoke of the dangers of the military-industrial complex. He warned us then about, and I quote, the potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power, end of quote. 6 decades later, I'm equally concerned about the potential rise of a tech-industrial complex that could pose real dangers for our country as well. Americans are being buried under an avalanche of misinformation and disinformation, enabling the abuse of power. The free press is crumbling. Editors are disappearing. Social media is giving up on fact-checking. The truth is smothered by lies told for power and for profit. We must hold the social platforms accountable to protect our children, our families, and our very democracy from the abuse of power. Meanwhile, artificial intelligence is the most consequential technology of our time, perhaps of all time. Nothing offers more profound possibilities and risks for our economy and our security, our society, for humanity. Artificial intelligence even has the potential to help us answer my call to end cancer as we know it. But unless safeguards are in place, AI could spawn new threats to our rights, our way of life, to our privacy, how we work, and how we protect our nation. We must make sure AI is safe and trustworthy and good for all humankind. In the age of AI, it's more important than ever that the people must govern. And as the land of liberty, America, not China, must lead the world in the development of AI. You know, in the years ahead, it's going to be up to the president, the presidency, the Congress, the courts, the free press, and the American people to confront these powerful forces. We must reform the tax code, not by giving the biggest tax cuts to billionaires, but by making them begin to pay their fair share. We need to get dark money. That's that hidden funding behind too many campaigns contributions. We need to get it out of our politics. We need to enact an 18-year time and term, for the strongest ethics reforms for our Supreme Court. We need to ban members of Congress from trading stock while they're in the Congress. We need to amend the Constitution to make clear that no president is immune from crimes that he or she commits while in office. The president's power is not limited. It's not absolute, and it shouldn't be. And in a democracy, there's another danger to the concentration of power and wealth. It erodes a sense of unity and common purpose. It causes distrust and division. Participating in our democracy becomes exhausting and even disillusioning. And people don't feel like they have a fair shot. We have to stay engaged in the process. I know it's frustrating. A fair shot is what makes America, America. Everyone's entitled to a fair shot. Not a guarantee, but just a fair shot. An even playing field. Going as far as your hard work and talent can take you. We can never lose that essential truth, remain who we are. I've always believed, and I've told other world leaders, America can be defined by one word: possibilities. Only in America do we believe anything is possible. Like a kid with a stutter from modest beginnings in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claremont, Delaware, sitting behind this desk in the Oval Office as President of the United States. That's the magic of America. It's all around us. Upstairs in the residence of the White House, I've walked by a painting of the Statue of Liberty I don't know how many times. In the painting, there's several workers climbing on the outstretched arm of the statue that holds the torch. It reminds me every day I pass it of the story and soul of our nation and the power of the American people. There's a story of a veteran. This is a veteran, the son of an immigrant, whose job was to climb that torch and polish the amber panes so rays of light could reach out as far as possible. He was known as the keeper of the flame. He once said of the Statue of Liberty, quote, speaks a silent universal language, one of hope that anyone who seeks and speaks freedom can understand. Yes, we sway back and forth to withstand the fury of the storm, to stand the test of time. A constant struggle, a short distance between peril and possibility. But what I believe is the America of our dreams is always closer than we think. And it's up to us to make our dreams come true. Let me close by stating my gratitude to so many people, to the members of my administration, as well as public service and first responders across the country and around the world. Thank you for stepping up to serve. To our service members and your families, it's been the highest honor of my life to lead you as Commander-in-Chief. And of course to Kamala and our incredible partner, the historic Vice President. She and Doug have become like family. And to me, family's everything. My deepest appreciation to our amazing First Lady who's with me in the Oval today, for our entire family. You're the love of my life and the lives of my love. My eternal thanks to you, the American people. After 50 years of public service, I give you my word. I still believe in the idea for which this nation stands. A nation where the strength of our institutions and the character of our people matter and must endure. Now it's your turn to stand guard. May you all be the keeper of the flame. May you keep the faith. I love America. You love it too. God bless you all. And may God protect our troops. Thank you for this great honor.
Well, well, well. Yeah. Yo, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing to be mean. I promise you. That's not what I'm laughing at. That's not what I'm laughing at. It's just like, damn. Like, where do we go from here? I'll be honest, man. That was hard to watch. That was hard to watch, and it's not just because of Joe Biden. I told y'all a while ago, like I actually was becoming very, or have become very sympathetic of Joe Biden. Very sympathetic of Joe Biden. To be totally honest, I think that he was encouraged to have some of the talking points that he had. I mean, I don't even think he mentioned the border. I don't think he mentioned, I mean, the only thing he mentioned with Ukraine is saying that they're still free. Like, bro, what we want to know is not necessarily, just to be totally honest, I'm just, if you're from Ukraine, then obviously you have a tie there to where you care about Ukraine being free. But I think it's a little bit disconnected when you discuss Ukraine, but then don't discuss the fact that a lot of Americans, we don't want to be involved in that. You just gave, I think, I saw something that said $3.5 billion to their pension fund. Or I may be mistaken, or maybe it was less than that. I don't know. I didn't dig into it. I just saw the title of the article But it's like we don't want to be involved in that. And I know he mentioned the ceasefire, which is, I guess, this was a convenient day for him to jump on the day that there's a ceasefire. I didn't even know until right before the show that there had reached a ceasefire between Hamas and Israel. But I mean, bro, to not even mention the border, to not even mention the migrant crisis, but you're talking about the countries being taken over by an oligarchy. Like, it really seemed like he was put up to something. And this is why, I'll be totally honest, this is why, one of the reasons why I feel like he's being put up to something is because you see him with Trump when he's with Trump, right? You see him, he's very friendly when he sat down with Trump. It didn't seem like there was a threat to democracy that he was turning power over. Matter of fact, I believe in the conversation, they were saying that the transition was going to be as smooth as possible, both of them. So this is where the disconnect happens for me. It's like, if Donald Trump's all these things and you want to say all these things when you're not with Donald Trump, but then when you're with Donald Trump, then when Barack's with Donald Trump, it's all smiles, handshakes, and bro hugs. There's something very inconsistent there. There's something very inconsistent there. And they may think, maybe that's just because they think that they have such a loyal voter base that it doesn't matter what they do. Maybe they really just believe that they can say whatever they want, try to mislead you or be as extreme and use hyperbole, just like they accuse Trump of using. It's so funny that everybody accuses Trump of using hyperbole. You know, when Trump says big, it's going to be the smoothest transit, or whatever Trump said. You'll have, what did he tell California? You'll have more water than you can handle. Like, we know how Trump talks, but in all actuality, they do the same thing when it comes to how they describe Donald Trump. When they call him a threat to democracy, when they say he's Hitler, when they say all these different things, when they say, oh, there's an oligarchy coming in. Biden, newsflash. Why don't you check how much money Kamala raised compared to how much money Donald Trump raised? And Kamala Harris is still asking for money. So if you're going to jump up here talking about the elites and money, things have changed. It's no longer the Democrats that are getting outspent or outraged, whatever, you know, not the big money. The big money's behind the Democrats. The Democrats are the one pushing for involvement in these wars. It's the Democrats. So I just think that there's definitely a disconnect from my understanding. Y'all tell me, right in the chat, what was your takeaway from that? What was your takeaway from that? And that's why, I'll be totally honest, I'm not a fan of the farewell addresses. I guess just the ones that I've seen. I don't even think, did Donald Trump even do one? I guess he was still he was still trying to say that, you know, he was still trying to contest the election. So I don't recall Donald Trump doing one. The last one that I recall was Barack Obama's farewell address after his second term, obviously, and I couldn't stand that speech. And to me, it's just everything that I hate about politics comes out in a lot of these farewell addresses, because they're only highlighting the things that they want to highlight. They're not being real. They're not being transparent. They're not talking about the things that the actual people actually care about. How are you the president that has caused this huge migrant crisis? You were the one that got rid of Trump's executive orders, put your own in. We had it tripled the amount of people that came in illegally. We have all these, you got the migrants coming in here. You have Democratic mayors. You got Eric Adams. You got Democrats coming out saying that you guys caused a huge issue, to say the least, with all these migrants that you're bringing into this place. You got the people in the communities. I don't know if y'all have ever seen the Chicago community board meetings or town hall meetings, when you have the people from Southside Chicago coming in there rocking red, repping Donald Trump and screaming at the Democratic leadership. What is it? The mayor's name? Brandon Johnson, I think. Black man, right? You got I'm sitting back looking at this and I'm like, damn, like they are just completely out of touch. completely out of touch. And I'll be honest, like there was a lot of fear mongering in that speech that Joe Biden just gave. And I just don't go for it. I don't go for it. It's and what do y'all think about this? I've said it before. Let me turn off this real quick. Let me show y'all what I got for y'all. Actually, hold on. I'm gonna show y'all something. So it's not ready yet, but we got some new t-shirts coming out. We got some new t-shirts, some Don King Only in America shirts. We got a Abraham Lincoln joint. We got a Malcolm X. So we got a bunch of t-shirts coming out. That's what you heard. We're sampling some t-shirts. So neither here nor there. I don't want to show it just yet. What did Timothy Waterroy? Shouldn't Joe be in bed? It's past his bedtime. And this is the thing. It's like, this is why I said that I feel a certain amount of sympathy for Joe Biden, because I just feel like I really feel like he barely knows what's going on. I really feel that throughout this entire presidency, especially with this recent report that came out where they were saying that even in the beginning of his term, they were having issues where, they would just shut down his entire day because he's waking up slow, not feeling his best. And I blame his wife. I blame the Democratic Party. Who knows who's making these decisions? But it's very hard for me to believe that Joe Biden is making these decisions. I mean, think about it. If you were in Joe Biden's cabinet, if you were one of the big money donors, the people that probably actually really could control and run the country, would you be trusting Joe Biden to make any decision? I mean, not that the presidents really make decisions anyway. I'm sure that there's, everything in our world revolves around money. So when you follow the money, we know that the presidents are the presidents. They may have the highest, the most powerful job, but that doesn't necessarily make them the most powerful people. They may have the most powerful job position, but like any job, if you're in a job, that means that you're working for somebody else, or you're working for somebody that's above you. And there's people with a lot of money, and obviously money makes the world go around. Money makes power go around. And that's why a lot of these politicians, they go into office, they're making $100,000, $200,000 salary, and then they come out and they're worth millions. It's like, please show me the salaried position that Barack Obama was getting paid to where he's worth $100 million or whatever. You know what I mean? Let me, DJ False. What's up, DJ False? Biden can go on, and y'all do me a favor, please like. So just give me a like real quick for the algorithm. That's just going to help boost the algorithm, get more people in, and just be able to have this open, safe space for a conversation and hear different people's perspectives. Because please, y'all shoot back at me. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm seeing it in a way that you're not seeing it. Tell me if that speech that you just heard was one of the best speeches. If you're inspired by it, if you're motivated by it, if you learn something from it. I don't know. I can only go off of what what I process when I hear it. So DJ Falls wrote, Biden can go out on his private beach in Rehoboth and pound sand up on and pound sand along with the rest of the corrupt Biden family. And that's the thing. That's this thing. A lot of people, even when I sit here and say that I'm sympathetic, my sympathy only goes to a certain point where I feel that somebody is, I really feel like Biden has either early stage or some maybe early stage dementia, whatever. There's something going on there. We've been saying it on this channel for years. That's where the sympathy ends. But then when you look at with Joe Biden, the things that he's supposed to represent, the moral high ground that a lot of these Democrats stand on, what was the saying that they kept saying? Nobody's above the law, right? Nobody's above the law. And then when you look at what Joe Biden's actually going to be remembered for, and when you think about his crime bill, and then when you fast forward to the fact that he pardoned his son for what, an 8-year span, or maybe even longer than that, for the same drugs that he was locking black people up for and others, but obviously crack, when you look at, just to give y'all the full context, We know that cocaine, crack cocaine, same drug, one's a different form. The powder, more expensive drug, more high, the people with more money, the more affluent drug, so to say, was cocaine, while the more impoverished drug was crack. So here you got Hunter Biden smoking crack, and he just gets a pardon for all his stuff. But go back and listen to the speeches that Joe Biden was giving when he was talking about the crime bill. When they were over there running around talking about that, when you're hearing like that super predator language. It's so from that standpoint, when you just remind me about the corrupt Biden family, it's hard to it is hard from that standpoint to show any empathy or sympathy. It really is, but it's I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. So Timothy Waterman, shout out to Tim. Tim wrote, "You can't say Biden was mentally unfit at the start of his term. He was on top of his game." Well, I can say that Biden was mentally unfit. The report says that Biden was mentally unfit. Literally, they did a report that showed that Biden, even in the beginning of his term, he was struggling. When you struggle to get out of bed and you have to cancel meetings for the rest of the day because you're having a rough morning, that shows some type of struggle. That's not the type of person, that's not the physical fitness we need or mental capacity that we need from somebody that's running the country. I would hope you would agree with that. I don't know. Tim wrote. He got me, bro. He being sarcastic. I'm like, yo, hold on. Like damn. I can't feel bad for him. Not after the Afghanistan pullout. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's like, there's so many things that, damn. There's so many things that you can point to when it comes to the Biden-Harris administration that they just completely itched the bed. Completely. I mean, yeah, I was not even thinking about the Afghanistan pullout. I was not even thinking about that. There's so many things, and maybe that's why his farewell address was so short. Like I said, I don't really recall how long Barack Obama's was. Obviously, Barack is more gifted speaker, younger at the time. But I guess when you really look at it, what did really Biden have to say? You know, what I would have respected, though? I would have respected if instead of playing the same old fear-mongering game where it's like, oh, there's a dangerous person coming in office and insinuating that and saying that there's an oligarchy running the country. Instead of saying that, why don't you just keep the same energy that you had when you were in front of Trump? Why don't you just keep that same energy when your wife was in front of Trump? Like, look, we lost the election. It is what it is. Here's the things that we set out to accomplish during our 4 years. Here's the things that we fell short on. And here's some of the things that, we felt that we did a solid job on. Throw it out. Give me that and be honest. Be honest. We can respect that. People can respect that. And this is where I think a lot of the Democrats and liberals are missing the boat. They're so caught up in this politically correct language. They don't realize that Donald Trump destroyed all of that. We're just looking for somebody to be real. Even if we don't agree with everything that they're saying, we're just looking for somebody that we can actually believe the things that they're saying. That's it. Like and the bar is so low because of people like Joe Biden, people like Barack Obama, people like Kamala Harris, people like Gavin Newsom, because y'all keep spitting all this politically correct mambo jumbo, and that's not how we're communicating. Maybe that's how it was okay to communicate before, but I'm not sure that y'all are keeping up with the times. Now, people's attention span is short. It's a TikTok culture. It's a Tinder culture. Less than a second, we're swiping left or right or confirm. Like, that's how it goes. You guys are missing it. They're missing it, in my opinion. Tim said, they said the adults are back in charge. I'm being sarcastic. I voted for Trump. LOL. And that's the thing. Like, it's like, bro, you don't even realize, like, at least I would have used Trump's, I think that there's an optimistic energy going around. Optimistic at the very least, or people just excited. People are either excited. There's a lot of people that voted for Trump that are excited. There's a lot of people that didn't vote for Trump that I still think, at least, even if they don't admit it, they're optimistic. They're saying, well, let's just see how it goes. Like, even how they saw how the Democrats responded after losing, I think that turned a lot of people off. And when they started to play the blame game, this is where the Democrats exposed themselves. After Kamala lost, obviously there's going to be a lot of news outlets and people playing the blame game and people saying, like, how did we get here? And then what ended up happening? The reason why y'all got here is because you wanted to push all of these woke ideologies. You wanted to push all of this craziness, boys playing sports against girls, tampons in boys' bathrooms, drag queens reading books to kids in school, books in school talking about boys doing sexual things with boys. Like, oh, y'all tried to push all of this craziness, and people started to expose it. And now the people that voted for Kamala Harris, a lot of those Democrats, they're sitting back pissed off now because that she lost and looking at the Democratic Party like, yeah, y'all did push all this woke BS. And now people are looking at it like, okay, let's see what happens with Trump. Let's see what happens. So that's why I said it's either excitement or at least optimism from a sense. And if I was Biden, I would have just used that to say, like, hey, like I said, here's the things that we set out to do. Here's the things that we accomplished, that we were solid on. Here's the things that we fell short of. And we're looking forward to the next president and his administration improving on these areas. These are the areas that we still need to work on. We will work with them in any way that they need to make sure that the transition is as smooth as possible. So that way we can give ourselves the best chance of accomplishing these things in the fastest, most efficient way. That's what I would have done. Bro, it's like we're on a high, we're on a high, and you just come in and you're like, oh, the oligarchy's coming. It's like you just give me all this depressing news. You ever been feeling real good, having a great day, and then somebody just hits you with some negative news? It's like everything they're talking about is just from a negative perspective, talking about their body hurts, they're going through it, they lost it. Yo, keep that over there. Keep that over there. I don't feel the same way that you feel about the day, about life. My perspective on the day is opportunity. What can we do? Like, let's think of some positive energy. It's not that when it comes to the Democratic Party, and Joe Biden just showed it. And to be totally honest, I think that I don't even think that Joe Biden's aware of like where the country stands as far like I don't think that Joe Biden's listening to podcasts from people that don't agree with him. And that's the only way that you're really going to understand how people are feeling. I don't think he's listening to podcasts, maybe period. I don't think he may not even be listening to liberal mainstream news outlets. So he's just so out of touch. And that's what it came out to me. So therefore they convinced this man to read this BS off the screen. And he doesn't even know what he's reading is BS. That's why I said I feel like a little bad for him. That's why I feel a little bad for him. So I don't know. Let's keep going with the comments. At least Trump has a Q against him. America is sick of woke. I agree. Tampon Tim. LOL. Tampon Tim. That's your man, Tim. Nah, let me stop. Oh, yeah. So for all the people that are new here, we do this show 3 times a week. We're live on Mondays and Fridays at 8 a.m. And then on Wednesdays, we usually go at 9 p.m. But, we had to cover the farewell address. So that's why we're here a bit early. Normally, we talk about politics, life stuff, anything that can elevate our lives. We dive into a lot of, we end up talking about like a lot of food. Like on Monday, I got to check in with everybody. We did a fast. We did a 36-hour fast, but it's all based on, we try to avoid all the messy topics. Like you're not going to hear us talking about Cameron and Jim Jones. Like you're not going to hear about that on here. Well, you just heard about it. So there it goes. But yeah, we try to just have good convos where we can just grow and build and hear different people's perspectives, because none of us have all the answers. We understand that. But I think that we've gotten away from being able to have spaces where the debates are not the Skip and Shannon or Stephen A. and Shannon debates, but just old school debates where it's like you can exchange ideas, let me hear your perspective. Let me hear why you think about it. And then, let me process it, see if it aligns with the way I'm thinking, see if I have any takeaways from it. That's what we come here for. All right. To hear different perspectives and to elevate. So let me, no promises. Hold on. LL, no promises. I won't try to debate. There's absolutely nothing wrong with certain debates. When the problem is when you debate people that aren't willing to budge at all on their current stance or their perspective and how they walked into the conversation. If you debate with somebody that their objective is to walk away from that conversation thinking the same way that they did when they walked in, or at least not even being open to think a different way, and chances are, neither one of y'all probably gonna get something from it. But I don't know. All right, let me show y'all this. So this is something that I came across because I kind of got sidetracked with Biden. We had a couple things that we were going to discuss on the show and then got sidetracked a bit. But I want to show y'all something. I want to show y'all something that Alex Jones put up. And I want to get your opinion. Maybe we'll listen to a little bit of the interview that he did with the grandson of somebody that was very close to LBJ. This is pretty wild, what y'all are getting ready to see. And I don't know, it's one of those things where you question, whether or not you should show it. But it is what it is, right? So take a look at this. I'm getting ready to share the screen with y'all. And you guys give me your thoughts.
Sure good to see you. How's life treating you today?
Well, Saul, it's been a pretty touch and go situation. Lyndon and I have had quite a few unpleasant words here lately over the deal that he hired Mike Wallace to assassinate the president. It's been hectic in every way, but we've lived through it this far, and I guess we'll continue to do so. Lyndon should have never issued that order to Mike, but we've had our differences, and I'm a true blue.
Actually, I'm going to pause that there because they're getting ready to show. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me get this off my dang screen. I can't even front, man. I started sweating a little bit while watching that, but I didn't want to play the rest of the video because they show the video with JFK being assassinated. But there's I don't know if y'all heard what was said on the tape, but and damn, I'll be totally honest. Like, as I'm sitting here talking to y'all, I really feel like pivoting and going a whole separate direction. Hold on, let's do this first. Hold on, let me do this first. Hold on. Let me do this first. Let me finish up a couple things with Biden, and then if I feel like letting them hang, then we'll get back into that last video. But if not, then all right. So let's easy there. All right, let's get back to Biden. So I realized in my notes, I had a couple questions for y'all regarding Biden. LBJ was a weird guy, Tim. LBJ was a weird guy. LBJ, I really blame him. I blame him for a large reason as to why Black people are so delusional and so intoxicated in dealing with the Democratic Party. I really blame Lyndon B. Johnson. Now, let me also say, I don't blame Lyndon B. Johnson more than I blame Black folk. Because if you allow yourself to get finessed, then at the end of the day, you got to look back at yourself, right? Hold yourself accountable to that first and foremost, especially 60, 70 years later, and you still pushing the same agenda. Lyndon B. Johnson, this was the guy that introduced the social programs, welfare, all of this stuff that, in my opinion, it mentally enslaved black folk, mentally enslaved to a point where it took away. See, when something happens, when you go through a crisis, whether it's the Holocaust, anything, you go through something, a group of people, you can use that as a rallying cry to unite, or you can use that to embrace a certain level of victimhood that does not allow you to unite, build, and use that same energy. It's almost like you ever not get along with somebody? You ever not get along with somebody? Say you arguing with your brother. You arguing with your brother, but then y'all go out, y'all playing basketball, and you get into it with a whole bunch of other people. That little argument that you had with your brother, that's out the window. Now you're locked in with your brother, and it's y'all versus everybody else. When it came to slavery, this is why right after slavery, black people took education more seriously than black people took it now. Think about that. Think about it. Why I've never seen a study, but I would actually love to see a study, because I would bet, I don't know if I'd bet everything I got on it. I don't know if I would take that Tesla stock out and bet everything on it, but I would bet that 20 to 40 years after slavery, black kids were able to read, speak, and write at a higher level than black kids right now. Let me say that again. I would love to see a study, because right now, even without seeing a study, I would bet a significant amount of money on that 20 to 40 years after slavery, 20 to 40 years post-slavery, that black kids were able to read, write, and speak in a higher level than black kids now, because there was a value associated with it, because we could not do something. It's the same way if you take something away from somebody, they want it more. When you take something away from somebody and you see that, and they understand that they're in the bottom of society, and a large reason that they're in the bottom of society is because of that thing that you took away with them, their ability to learn, their ability to not learn, or when you take away their ability to learn, to read and write, it doesn't allow them to adapt to society. It doesn't allow adapt or adopt. I'm trying to think. Adapt to society. So what happens was, and that's why you saw a lot of it, you saw more people married, because there was a need. Slaves, you couldn't get married freely when you were a slave. So then after that, which right before Lyndon B. Johnson and his policies came into play, black women were actually more likely to get married than white women. There was a different value associated by it. But as soon as you introduced Lyndon B. Johnson's social programs, what ended up happening? They took away the value of the black man. They took away the value of the man in the household. You no longer needed them. Oh, you need provision? You need somebody to provide for you? Don't even worry about it. We got it. We got it. We'll provide you with all the assistance that you can ask for. But we just have one ask. Matter of fact, not even ask. We just have one demand, that you can't have a man in your house. And if we find out that you have a man living in your house, we're taking a lot of that assistance away. That's what Lyndon B. Johnson, that's why it's accepted that he said that, what did he say, for 100 years or 150 years, that he would have the black people voting Democrat for 100 years based on the social programs that he was putting in play. And I can't say that he was wrong. I can't say that he was wrong. Matter of fact, I was talking to my dad the other day about taking advantage of he got the opportunity to go to college based on a Sikh program. It was a program. My dad grew up impoverished, dirt poor in the Bronx. Only one not born on a plantation. My grandparents were sharecroppers, and all of my aunts and uncles besides my dad, like they grew up on the farm. So my dad grew up in the South Bronx, and City College of New York, they were doing a program called Seek, and it reached out to kids that were impoverished and also who didn't have the grades to go to college. So it was a program that allowed you to come on board and you take remedial classes your first year, catch up, and then your next 4 years, you're taking regular classes and working towards earning your degree at City College. It was a great program. I benefited from it tremendously. The reason why I had the upbringing that I had, of course, with my mother as well, but was in large part due to my dad and that program that he earned, or that program that he had the opportunity to go to and then earn a degree. And then he became an attorney and boom. But what he was telling me is that a lot of those kids didn't take the opportunity seriously. They didn't take advantage of the situation that they were giving. And it's like when you get something for free and when it's just readily available to you and when you just give people access to stuff, it's very hard for people to appreciate those things. And when they don't appreciate and value those things, they're not going to take advantage of the opportunity. This is why, going back to what I said, this is why people were excited to learn right after slavery, excited to have businesses, excited to be out there looking good. Look how people dress. Everything has completely changed. Everything has completely changed. So right after Lyndon B. Johnson, and you had a group of people that were fighting for desegregation, right? Everybody fighting for desegregation. And I know we're going off on a tangent, but I'm just kind of sharing some thoughts with y'all. Right after desegregation, what ended up happening? When we were segregated, everybody had their own. Can y'all? I know we've spoken about it plenty of times before, but I feel like since we have a lot of new people on here, can y'all really believe this? Like, think about this from this standpoint. It made sense to some very intelligent Black people at the time and white people. It made sense to protest, to go try to spend your money in a place that didn't want your money, would not allow you to eat in their restaurant. You had to pick your food up in the back. You like literally, we were fighting and begging to go spend our money at these places at the expense of not going to the restaurants that actually wanted our business in the Black neighborhoods. We're fighting to go. We should be able to go to see a white doctor. We should be able to go to a white grocery store. We should be able to go to a white restaurant. And the whole time, the people that did not have a victim mindset and said, oh, we can't go to y'all grocery store. Don't worry, we'll build our own. We can't go to your doctor. Don't worry, we'll set up our own. We can't go to your restaurants. Don't worry, we'll set up our own. Those people that didn't have a victim mindset, they actually saw the opportunity and said, nah, we're going to do what a lot of other cultures do. We're going to keep our dollars circulating in the community. We're going to keep our dollars circulating in the community. And now, fast forward, the Black dollar, as soon the money's already spent before people even get it. It circulates, the Black dollar leaves the community, the Black community, faster than any other demographic of people. So think about that. You had the people that were willing to stand up, the people that were willing to say, like, yo, we don't even need to go to those spots. I don't want to go anywhere where I'm not welcomed. But instead, we fought so hard to be second-class citizens because we had this inferiority complex that we were not even aware of, this Stockholm syndrome. Falling in love with our oppressor. The white water's colder. The white ice is colder. The white water, this water tastes better. I want that white pie. When you really think about it, it was intelligent people. And it just goes to show you exactly what I'm saying. The point that I was making is that when you take something away from somebody, people want it more. They will want it even if it's not in their own best interest to want it. That's just how it goes. So I don't know. So when I asked y'all, so let me ask y'all this. When it comes to Biden, and we spent a little bit on LBJ. I don't know if I want to show y'all that other one. So Tim wrote something interesting. Which party freed the slaves? So that's actually something that we should do a deep dive into, because a lot of people will say that, well, the Republicans, but it was a different Republican Party. That's before the Dixiecrats that were the racists, and the Democrats came over to the Republican Party. I don't know. I've looked into it, but I can't say that I have a strong recollection as far as which is the actual story here. Was it really the Republicans? Were the Republicans, did the party switch? Was there no party switch? Who knows? Who knows? One thing that I'll say is that I think we're actually seeing what may be perceived as a party switch right now, years later. And it's just based on, this is how I see politics. And this is kind of just to continue this point. I see that when it comes to conservatives, right? Conservatives have certain values where they don't want any, they're like, yo, keep the rules the same. We don't need things to change. We can work based on these foundational principles that we have right here. Right? So the Democrats on the other side, they're saying like, no, we got to change. We got to change. We got to change. We got to change. And eventually, when the Democrats become more and more successful, like how you'll see certain things, and I know I'm not probably explaining it totally correctly, but when you think about the Democrats, who used to be the party of not wanting censorship, now it's like they're the ones censoring stuff. The Democrats used to be the anti-war party. Now it's like they're the ones that are locked in with the military-industrial complex. So you're seeing a lot of things switch. I don't know if you're seeing that we've definitely seen the party's agendas as far as the Democrats, because I guess they've gone so super duper liberal and progressive. And I guess you go that far where eventually you're going to end up, I don't know, in a place that you used to hate. You'll end up in the same place pushing for the same things that you used to criticize the other group for doing. At least that's how I see it. So I don't know if now they're going to look at it as different. Oh, there was a party switch. I don't know. I can't really call it. Hold on. So Tim wrote, who championed the 14th, 15th, and 16th Amendments, and what party elected the first black senator? I guess you're going to tell me the Republican Party. And this is, so let me ask you this. Do you need to be a part of a party? Do y'all think that it's smart to be a part of an actual party? And I'm looking at what Maria just wrote. I love that you and your VP are leaving. I told y'all, just to the earlier point, I just think that there's a disconnect. Like I really, you know what I would have done going back to your point. I know we're getting all over the place today. MAGA, Mr. T forever. So, all right, so let me ask y'all this. Going back to Biden, I was getting ready to write, I'll get them a U-Haul, LOL. Going back to Biden, what will Biden be known for? What will Biden be known for? And this is the thing. So this is the conversation I was having the other day with my parents. It's like, can you get mad at do you get mad at Biden, or do you get mad at to the point that I was making earlier, as far as like a lot of Democrats who did not necessarily align with a lot of the woke ideologies, but they still voted for Kamala, mainly because I think that they just hated Trump. But when you have this group of people that they're saying like, hey, I didn't vote for any of that woke stuff, but you did. I gotta always remind them, like, you did. I know that in your mind, when you cast that vote for Kamala, or when you cast that vote for Biden, you may not have been thinking about all this other stuff over here. You may have been just thinking about your Social Security, what's best for your taxes. We get all that. but it still goes to the same vote. You know what I mean? It still goes to the same agenda. And that's why when you have a Joe Biden, when we talk about politicians being honest, one thing that I will have to say is that Joe Biden was honest when he first ran. He said, I remember being in Brooklyn. I was in Brooklyn. I forget exactly what part. I remember exactly where I was on the street when this is when I was trying to convince a bunch of friends and family, like, nah, Biden ain't it. I wasn't with Trump, but I was like, nah, Biden ain't it. And when he came out and said that his number one priority was the LGBTQ agenda, that's what Biden came out and said. A lot of people were running around saying, oh, Biden's giving out reparations. He's giving out. Nah, Biden is doing what Biden said he was going to do. He said his number one priority was the LGBTQ agenda. And can you imagine? Just think about what Biden, like how advanced. Think about how far Biden took it in 4 years. You got women okay with men playing sports and women. The Riley Gaines, I believe Riley, that's her name. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, but Riley, the swimmer, the one that came out and actually stood up against Liam, I forget what the guy that was swimming against women and winning all these races. I forget his name, her name, whatever they want to go by. But she was actually the exception. It's like all the other women felt like they couldn't speak up. We're living in a world where I remember they asked Dawn Staley, like, hey, do you think that trans women, AKA women born with penises, do you think that they should be able to play against the women in college sports? Now, Dawn Staley should know better, but she got caught up in whatever LGBTQ power structure, especially when it comes to women's basketball, because we know that it's dominated by a lot of the LGBTQ community, at least the L, and maybe some T's, because according to Brittany Griner, she identifies, when they asked her about her kid and they said, oh, you're going to be a mom? And nah, pops. So she said pops, right? But this is my thing. This is why it's Joe Biden did such a good job pushing the LGBTQ agenda. He's got women backpedaling. He's got women backpedaling and pushing to have trans women take the opportunities from women. And then I sit there and say, I'm like, damn, if somebody like Dawn Staley feels that trans women should be playing against women in sports, then why don't they call out Brittany Griner, who is clearly a trans man? Why don't she go take her 6'9" frame to the NBA and compete against Joel Embiid or somebody? I don't know. Draymond. I don't know. That's how you know it's just a bunch of BS. You think trans women should play against women, but I don't hear anybody saying trans men should be playing in the NBA against men. It's just all BS, but that's why they lost. That's why they lost. Hold on, let me catch up with these comments. So Tim wrote, denying his granddaughter Navy. Whoa, what's that about, bro? Break that down. Tim wrote, unfortunately, Mr. Catholic, maybe brown. What you talking about, Tim? I don't know. I didn't want to repeat that. I didn't know what I was reading. What am I reading, Tim? And Tim wrote, shout out to Shy in the building. Tim wrote, he has a lot of blood on him and her. Both have blood on their hands. Lake and Riley and other young girls murdered on their watches. And you bring up a good point, because yo, who is this? Yo, who's trolling? Yo, do me a favor real quick. I'm glad we got that laugh, but somebody please everybody make sure that you like. We got Barack Obama in the building. Yo, Barack Obama, we may need you to cam up. we may need you to cam up. Matter of fact, if Barack Obama's in the building, this is what I'm about to do. I'm about to put a link. I just put a link in the chat. If that's Barack Obama, yo, I'm about to say if that's Barack Obama, yo, Barack Obama, cam up. Cam up. That's that link for Barack Obama if he wants to cam up. Steven wrote, goodbye, good riddance to a piece of trash that is a illegitimate faker. But that's the thing, yo. This is what we're talking about. I don't know if Joe Biden's a faker. I don't know if he lied. As far as the things that I'm talking about, like, I get more mad at the people that voted for him. Like, bro, they said they were going to do all this stuff. Like the border, they pretty much let it be known they were going to get rid of Trump's executive orders. All these people, Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Barack Obama, all three of them, before Trump started saying build the wall, all three of them were pushing to have a wall built. I think one of them called it a fence. Same thing, right? They all were saying that it makes sense to have a wall or fence, some type of structure. But then as soon as Trump says it, what did you hear Kamala Harris coming out talking about? Look, I've prosecuted. My record as a former prosecutor. I've worked with this border state and all this other stuff. A wall ain't gonna stop them from coming in. You think a wall gonna stop them from coming in? Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about when she said it. But they were all pushing for it before. This is why you can't trust any of these folk, man. You can't trust them. But so I guess to your point, he is a faker because he said it. He said he wanted a wall before, and then when Trump started bringing it up. But I just think maybe I'm being too, I don't know. It's just hard for me to see Joe Biden in the state that he's in and really criticize him, yo. I feel bad, man. I'm biased, man. My grandparents had dementia. Like, damn, like I don't know. But if he wants to act like he's in that position, then I don't know. I wonder what they're giving him. I actually wonder. Barack Obama wrote, actually, never mind, Vance 2028. Timothy Waterman said, I can't say that word. No. Timothy Waterman wrote, putting blacks in prison for weed. Facts, bro. Go back to the basement. Go back to the basement. Shout out to my bro Urs in the building. Urs with the super chat cash. Nah, let me stop. But yeah, shout out to my bro Urs in the building. What Maria, y'all killing Biden, man. Hold up. So hold on. Tell me, y'all don't have a little bit of sympathy for Joe Biden? Like maybe I'm just being soft. Am I being soft? Like you don't have a little bit of sympathy for him. Like I just look at him and I'm like, the worst point for me was when he lost the debate to Trump. He lost the debate to Trump. And y'all remember when Jill Biden jumped on stage after and she was like cheering for him. It's like, it reminded me of like I had a terrible game, right? I had a terrible game when I was 8 years old. I struck out every play, whatever, you know what I mean? Had a terrible game, or in basketball, I didn't score. And then my mom's on the side, or it's like, you had a great game, baby. Like you did. Like, yo, mom, I know I didn't have a great game. Like, don't be telling me that. Like, you know what I mean? You almost get mad. Like, yo, like, why are you lying to me, trying to play me, like trying to make me feel bad? Like, you don't even want to hear. That was the worst point for me. And meanwhile, Joe Biden's up there just like, and Jill's like, you answered all the questions, Joe? He didn't answer the questions. You answered the questions. Like, and it reminded me, I don't even know if this was said, but I just kept thinking about like my mom trying to convince me to feel better about a horrible performance. And you want to go get ice cream? Like that's how it felt. That's how it felt. I'm like, Biden's in the old folks home. Like he's excited about getting the little nasty ice cream. Like, hold on. I can't explain any Biden award is banned by Twitch. You being softer than McDonald's. You're being softer than McDonald's. All right, Tim's saying I'm being soft on him. Maybe I am. I'm being softer than McDonald's ice cream. All right, so Barack Obama wrote, Harrison Vance should be the nominee for 2028. I don't know. All right, so if Harris and Vance are the nominees for 2028, Barack, who's the president? Who's the VP? So Marie wrote, LOL, hell no sympathy for that old fool. Barack Obama. Y'all are clowning. I have sympathy for Joe Biden. All right, yo, hold on. So Marie wrote, Barack Obama wrote, Marie, Trump ain't no better. It's official. He's a felon. Ernst wrote, yeah, he's old as hell, but he stole so much money from the government. That sounds like a fact. That sounds like a fact. Since Trump can't run in 2028, I predict JD will run and no Democrats in the office. Yeah, JD. Yo, JD may be my favorite politician right now. I'm be honest. JD Vance may be my favorite politician right now. Like almost to the point where I'll be totally honest. I really feel like, yo, Trump probably over there. Trump probably loved JD, but Trump know like, damn, JD, like, that guy's good. Let me just stay your ass in the background for a little bit. You know, like we can't have you. Because when JD did his, especially after, I mean, the Democrats also did a good job in The View. Shout out to The View. They definitely helped Trump win. But the Democrats did a good job of setting the bar so low with JD Vance to the point where I remember, like, even I was having conversations with my mom, and she was so surprised based on all the things that she heard about JD Vance and how he conducted himself. I forget exactly what it was, but it was an interview that he did where he just crushed it. Like everything was just smooth. He just crushed it. And, so I think JD's one of the smoothest politicians out here. So Tim wrote, I can't explain Navy Biden because Twitch hates what Hunter did it with. Okay. Good riddance. Dennis West. Shout out to Dennis West in the building. You feeling good about Biden being on his way out? What if it's John Fetterman versus JD Vance? I think John Fetterman, he about to go over to the Republican side, in my opinion. I can't even say come over. I'm not a registered Republican. But I voted Trump. Kaya wrote good riddance. All right, so let me ask y'all this. So some of the things that I had on my list hold on. Got a little sniffles. Hold on. Sorry about that. So one of the things that I had on my list when it came to Biden, and I'm like, when you look at, do y'all think that that Biden tarnished his legacy by becoming president? Do you think that he tarnished his legacy? I think that it definitely got tarnished when he decided to run again, but I think in a lot of ways he tarnished his image just by becoming president. I don't even know if that's even possible for me to say, but somehow I feel like he really pulled off the impossible and tarnished his legacy by winning president. I mean, the only thing that he can really stand on is the fact that he beat Trump. The only thing that he can stand on is the fact that he beat Trump. Other than that, who's really happy with Biden? Like, who's happy? What group of people is happy with what Biden brought to the table? I don't know. So, fire Whoopi Cushion Goldberg, who said the Holocaust wasn't a hate crime and said that Anne Frank had white privilege. You gassing, Tim. And she ain't say that. Did she really say that? Send me the link. If she said that. Marie wrote, thank God, and Greyhound, you're gone soon. Oh, dementia, man. Y'all being mean, man. Biden was a great debater in 2008 and 2012. I don't know. In 2012, how old was I? What was that? That's 12 years ago, 13 years ago. I was in my early 20s, mid 20s. Like, I didn't know what a great debater was. It's like when I watched Michael Jordan when I was 8, 9 years old. He never had a bad game. I don't remember him missing a shot compared to me getting older and watching like a Kobe and LeBron. I looked at it so much differently. Like, I don't remember Biden being a great debater. I definitely don't remember. He beat Trump in 2020 because they smeared the hell out of Trump for 4 years straight. Yeah, that's a fact. Like, that definitely wasn't a fair election. And he had the help of the CIA, those agents that signed that document talking about the Hunter Biden laptop was fake. I don't think that he would have won if they weren't the CIA didn't pull that BS that they did. So let me show y'all this. All right. So speaking of DEI and speaking of all the woke ideologies, so before I knew, because my mom, she gives me the alerts a lot of times. She gave me the alerts. So she gave me the alert that Joe Biden was going to be doing his farewell address. So before that, I was thinking about our normal show and how it would go. And I had something that, speaking of DEI, I want to show y'all. So I have this video where it's Jamil Hill. Let me pull it up. If you're not familiar with Jamil Hill, she was on ESPN, I believe. She's a sports journalist, but she plays the race card a lot. That's one of the things that she does. She plays the race card a lot. I'm not the biggest fan of hers, but she put up a video the other day talking about Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen that I want to share with y'all. So let me show y'all this video. And it's just, I'm just tired of all the race baiting. And I think that a lot of people are always going to lean into it, but I think that it's just getting tired. I'm sick of it. And I think that people are just using it to a disadvantage. Like I said, when you embrace victimhood and you use it to unite your group as a rallying cry to do better, then that's one thing. But when you use it to complain and ask somebody else to fix the position that you're in, to me, it can be extremely crippling. So let me, I have two videos that I want to show y'all. I know Jason Whitlock on his, I don't think he played the entire thing. So therefore, I want to be able to play the entire thing for y'all. So you'll be able to see the entire video. And then give me a sec. I just want to make sure that I have the other part of the video queued up. All right. Then I'll get to what Jason Whitlock, I think, put on his page. If not, well, then we'll just do the other video. But take a look at this video. Where you at? Screen shared. All right, give me a second. Y'all are gonna enjoy this. You know, the people that just make everything about race. Like, everything's not about race. We get critical race theory that y'all see the world only through the eyes of race first, or y'all see race first and everything. However, it doesn't have to be that. Oh, wait. Hold up. Tim really sent the hold on. Because Tim really sent when I asked him to send about Whoopi Goldberg, he really sent it. Hold on. It says, I don't see the article, bro. It says the title, but I don't see it. Do me a favor. Do you see something on YouTube? Because the link that I just clicked on that you sent over, I don't see it. My apologies. That may be on my end. But in the meantime, we'll play this video. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts. As we go through. Hold on. Y'all okay with this? I like, I get in this is the wind down. We passed Biden. This is the wind down. Let's go.
Know that this year's NFL MVP race is kind of sort of about race. Now, before some of you get upset and start reflexively throwing out words y'all don't even fully understand, like woke and DEI and Marxist.
If it's kind of sort of about something, why make a whole video about it, knowing that you're going to get to people's emotions and get them angry about something that's just kind of sort of. It's kind of sort of about race. So if you know that we have a racially divided country, why would you even put this out? Why would you still try to stoke that fire? It's kind of, sort of. Let's go back. I try to play a little bit more, but I just had to, like, come on.
Did you all know that this year's NFL MVP race is kind of, sort of about race? Now, before some of you get upset and start reflexively throwing out words y'all don't even fully understand, like woke and DEI and Marxist, let me explain. The MVP race is down to Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson of the Baltimore Ravens. Now, both of these quarterbacks have had fine seasons, and both are worthy of the MVP. As of this recording, Allen has accounted for 40 touchdowns this season, committed fewer than 8 turnovers, and after the Bills beat the Patriots in Week 16, Allen tied Russell Wilson for most wins by a quarterback in the first 7 seasons of his career with 75. Now, on top of all of that, Josh Allen has only been sacked 14 times. Now, Allen also is only playing with 2 other Pro Bowlers on offense, and this season, the Bills have beaten both the Chiefs and the Lions, who are the number 1 seeds in their respective conferences. Hella impressive. On the other hand, Lamar Jackson, he's having a better season this season than he did last season when he won his second MVP. Now, if you stack his numbers up against Josh Allen's, he's beating Josh Allen in virtually every significant category. Completion percentage, touchdown passes, passing yards, rushing yards, and he also has an overall higher passer rating. Now, Lamar Jackson is the first player in NFL history to throw for over 4,000 yards and rush for over 900. He also broke Michael Vick's career rushing yards record for a quarterback. Again, hella impressive. Now, these are the stats which obviously have nothing to do with race. But as we've seen throughout Lamar Jackson's NFL career, when it comes to him in particular, race is always lurking somewhere in the background. And sometimes it's right in front of our faces. One of the most common arguments being used to support Allen receiving the MVP over Lamar Jackson is that Lamar Jackson already has won the award twice. And therefore...
So is that a race argument? That's what happens. The Joker in the NBA, he's a European guy. A lot of people say, like, oh, he already won, so they'll probably try to give it to somebody else. Matter of fact, I heard people saying last year when Joker won, people were saying that, oh, you know, he already won. They should have gave it to Shea Gilgis, or I forget his name, SGA. People were saying that. So does Joker in the NBA, him being white, does that take away? Is that racist? Because there were a lot of people calling he already won some, so let's give it to the black Canadian.
It's just time to give it to someone else. Now, that's a weird argument to make, but one we've seen used before in sports. Cut to Michael Jordan's prime MVP years. Michael Jordan easily could have won the MVP more than 5 times, but there was this sense that voters were getting tired of giving it to him. People point to Charles Barkley winning the MVP for his spectacular 92-93 season and Karl Malone winning it in 1997 as examples of Jordan being robbed of the MVP simply because of voter fatigue. Now, not to derail this whole conversation.
I don't know what she's about to say. I only skimmed through this. Keep in mind that she started off. The title of this is Why Josh Allen, you can see it on the screen, Why Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson Are Dividing NFL Fans. And she starts off with the race baiting. It's kind of sort of about race. If Michael Jordan and people were getting tired of him winning, and that's the first argument that you're using to discuss how Lamar Jackson, if he doesn't win, it can be kind of sort of about race. That means that an opportunity was taken away from Michael Jordan, right? Just like an opportunity to win may be taken away from Lamar Jackson just because people are just tired of him winning. The only question is that if you took an opportunity away from Lamar and gave it to Josh Allen, okay, he's white, but Michael Jordan, you took away an opportunity from him and you gave it to 2 black guys. You gave it to Charles Barkley. So did Charles Barkley have black privilege or white did Karl Malone have privilege? The example that you gave shows that it's not about race. It shows that, hey, people were just tired of Michael winning. So therefore, Charles Barkley won, a black person. People tired of Michael winning. Karl Malone, a black person won. These are the arguments that these people make. Like when you search and seek out everything through a critical race theory lens, this is how you end up making these arguments and seeing the world this way. She doesn't even realize, like the example that you gave proves that it's not racist. Or at least it further shows the opposite argument that you're trying to make. Or maybe I'm bugging.
And Karl Malone winning it in 1997 as examples of Jordan being robbed of the MVP simply because of voter fatigue. Now, not to derail this whole conversation, but Barkley earned that MVP like a mug. Barkley averaged 25 and 12, and most importantly, the Suns finished with the best regular season record. The MVP isn't about who you want taking the last shot, who you build a franchise with. It is simply about who had the best regular season and how that impacted their team's success. Now, when it comes to Karl Malone, back in 1997, that's a different story. Well, first of all, y'all know I don't fuck with Karl Malone as a staff, record label, or a crew for reasons you can Google. But second of all, when Malone won the MVP in 1997, although he finished second to Jordan in the league in scoring, Utah...
Let's dissect that. So Karl Malone, the same reasons that you don't mess with him that people can Google. So they were racist against Michael Jordan, and they gave it to a guy like Karl Malone. And that's supposed to demonstrate Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson.
Did not have the best record in the league that year. But I digress. This Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen MVP debate is kind of giving that Michael Jordan feel he wins it every year. Lamar Jackson's own excellence is basically being held against him. So much of any MVP race is about narrative. And the narrative.
So if his excellence is being held against him, that doesn't mean that his race is being used against him. Like, that's a different conversation.
Narrative surrounding Lamar Jackson is still baked in how people perceived him before he was even drafted.
This quarterback out in Louisville, Lamar Jackson, is here in Indianapolis, and he will throw tomorrow when the quarterbacks work out. But we now know a number of teams have also requested that Jackson work out with the wide receivers as well. They want to see both workouts. Jackson is yet to say, at least publicly, whether he's amenable to that.
Now, I'm going to go ahead here and say the quiet part out loud. The reason Lamar Jackson, despite his success, is still polarizing to some people is because Lamar Jackson refuses to code switch.
All right. Going back to what they just talked about with Lamar Jackson and the teams wanting him to play wide receiver. Lamar Jackson's an amazing athlete. Now, I do think that there's some old school people that may see a white guy who doesn't appear like a Lamar Jackson to be quarterback. I get that. But you know who also said some interesting things? And I wish that I could look it up. Hold on. Matter of fact, we're looking this up. We're looking this up. Because you know what? Deion Sanders, hold on. If I can find this, Deion Sanders describes types of players for positions. Hold on. Let's oh man, the internet is so amazing. Let's pivot for a second. I want to show y'all this. What Deion said. I want to show y'all what Deion said, because she's talking about people not wanting, or Lamar, she's trying to say that because they wanted Lamar to play wide receiver, it's got something to do with race. Maybe it does, but take a look at this. Can we make it bigger? There we go. All right, let me get that out of there. Y'all can see? All right, bet. Take a look at this. Oh, it's muted. Hold on.
Mother, father, dual parent. Mm-hmm. Quarterbacks are different. Yeah. We want mother, father, dual parent. Mm-hmm. We want that kid to be 3-5 and up, because he's got to be smart. Mm-hmm. Not bad decisions off the field at all, mm-hmm. because he has to be a leader of men. Like O-lineman, I look for dual parent homes. Right. A strong father that they adhered to. Right. Smart kid, at least 3-3 and above. My defensive lineman is totally opposite. What do you mean? Single mama. Trying to get it. He's on free lunch. I'm talking about just trying to make it. He's trying to rescue mama. Quarterbacks.
So Deion didn't make it about race. But let's say that he says, okay, you got to have a 3.5 GPA and you got to have 2-parent household. Well, who do we think that disqualifies more of? Do we even have to answer that? Okay. Then when he talks about D lineman, single parent, coming from poverty, I don't even know if he said poverty, just trying to get, what does that sound like? Oh, but it's a problem when white people do it. It's a problem when white people do it. And I just got a great text from one of my other big bros. What about Tim Tebow? They asked Tim Tebow to change positions, right? Tim Tebow, one of the greatest college football players of all time. One of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time, you got to say, right? They asked him to try out in different positions. Matter of fact, I think he ended up playing different positions. He still played quarterback and actually won some games. But everything is not about race. Yes, it may impact it a bit, but it's not everything about race. Let's go back to Jamel Hills. Matter of fact, I'm going to play this Deion video one more time. I want y'all to listen to it. And y'all tell me, and before we go back to the Jamel Hill video, if a white person said what Deion said, would they get in trouble?
Different. Yeah. We want mother, father, dual parent. Mm-hmm. We want that kid to be quarterbacks different. Yeah. We want mother, father, dual parent. Mm-hmm. We want that kid to be 3-5 and up because he's got to be smart. Mm-hmm. Not bad decisions off the field at all, because he has to be a leader of men. Like O-lineman, I look for dual parent homes. Right. A strong father that they adhered to. Right. Smart kid, at least 3.3 and above. My defensive lineman's totally opposite. What do you mean? Single mama. Trying to get it. He's on free lunch. I'm talking about just trying to make it. He's trying to rescue mama.
I'm not even mad at what Deion said. I'm not even mad because at least he's being real. He's being honest. But somebody like Jamel Hill, if a white person said that, they would be looking at it and saying, like what I said earlier, as far as, oh, well, they're disqualifying so many black kids just by them looking for a kid that has 2 parents and a 3.5 GPA. That's indirectly racist. If you look for it, you'll find it. If you look for it, you'll find it. Let's keep going with Jamel Hill.
He refuses to code switch in how he presents himself. He refuses to code switch in how he plays. He refuses to code switch in terms of how he conducts his business because his mother is his agent. Lamar Jackson. Because his mother's his agent? What is that? He refused to code switch because his mother's his agent? Jackson don't bother nobody. But you would be surprised by how many people are bothered by that.
I want my quarterbacks to be quarterbacky.
Now, when you play something like she just played, I have no idea what the context was around that. I wish they would have played more. We don't even know if he was even talking about Lamar Jackson. I'm going to assume that she was, right, Jamel? I guess that's what you're trying to get us to do. But what's the difference between what that lady just said and what Deion said?
Now, people have been using racially coded language to describe Jackson, but you would be surprised by how many people are bothered by that.
I want my quarterbacks to be quarterbacky.
Now, people have been using racially coded language to describe Jackson his entire NFL career.
The San Francisco 49ers have suspended a radio analyst because of something he said about Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. Here's what that analyst Tim Ryan said on a radio show Monday morning after the Ravens beat the 49ers on Sunday.
When he's his dark skin color with a dark football with a dark uniform, you could not see that thing. I mean, you literally could not see when he was in and out of the mesh point.
So if
yo, y'all want me to be honest? Y'all want me to be honest? Dude shouldn't have said that. Well, I don't even know if dude should have. Dude said it. He said it. He got suspended. He got fired. It is what it is. Take it. They got suspended. I don't know. I don't know. I'm assuming that he was talking about, when Lamar does the fake and then he has you don't know who has the ball. Just being real, you would see the ball differently if he was white. The ball would stand out more. The ball would stand out more if they had on white jerseys as well. I'm just saying, but clearly the dude, it doesn't sound right him saying that. It just doesn't sound right. But why are you using this situation? Let's say that this situation was racist, insensitive, whatever people want to call it. What does this have to do with Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson? Like, why are you even bringing this into the conversation? Maybe I'm just missing it. Maybe it's to talk about the history of racism that Lamar Jackson has faced. I don't, bro. Let's take a step back. He's won 2 MVPs already, I believe. And when you look at the amount of black quarterbacks that are playing in the league right now, I believe it was they did something where the last quarterbacks to get paid the most. I think if you looked at the top 6 quarterbacks, hold on, let's look it up. I think it was Russell Wilson. I think it was what's my dog? Damn, I'm forgetting my dog on who's the Cleveland? It was Deshaun Watson that got the guarantee money. It was Lamar Jackson. It was, there was another black quarterback that just got paid. Hold on. Patrick Mahomes. How could I forget about that? Top quarterback salaries. Let me look at the top quarterback salaries. Top highest paid NFL quarterbacks. And Dak Prescott. So hold on. You got Dak Prescott. Hold on. How are these? Dak Prescott, black. Joe Burrow's number 2, tied with Trevor Lawrence. They're white. Jordan Love is right after that. He's black. Tua, black. Jared Goff, white. Justin Herbert, white. Lamar Jackson, black. Jalen Hurts, black. Kyler Murray, black. Deshaun Watson, black. Patrick Mahomes, black. Like it's like they're trying to make. Why didn't you include this in your story, Jamil? Why didn't you include that? Let's be real. When it came to them wanting him to try out at different positions, yeah, because not everybody wants a running quarterback like that. It's risky to get hurt, all this type of stuff. But now people, what are they doing? Now a lot of people bringing people on and modeling their offenses after a guy like Lamar. Let's keep going. Shy, I already know what you laughing at. Wait a minute. Like, Buddy was bugging. I'm to the point where I actually enjoy when people just say whatever's on their mind, man. Say what's on your mind, bro. Say what's on your mind. Like the black jerseys, his dark skin, the black ball, the dark ball. Let's keep moving.
Skin color with a dark football with a dark uniform, you could not see that thing. I mean, you literally could not see when he was in and out of the mesh point.
So if race has been a factor in how people have frankly always discussed Lamar Jackson, why would race suddenly be eliminated entirely?
Always discuss Lamar Jackson
From the equation when it comes to this MVP race. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying if Josh Allen wins the award, it's because he's white and people are racist. I would have zero problem if he won it. But there is a theme here of black excellence being taken for granted. And it's not just limited to sports. And sometimes that excellence is used to deny black folks their due. A couple years ago, Variety polled 5 Grammy voters about who they voted for and who they didn't vote for. The voters were allowed to share their true feelings anonymously. One voter admitted that she didn't vote for Beyonce in any of the top categories because she has, quote, already won a lot of Grammys. Along those same.
So one voter said that? One voter said she's not voting for Beyonce because she's already won a bunch. And
timelines, Simone Biles used to be penalized for her ability to execute difficult, unprecedented maneuvers because the International Gymnastics Federation was concerned that other gymnasts would hurt themselves trying to mimic Biles. So if they gave her lower scores, the other gymnasts would have less incentive to try. When you're Black, sometimes there is such thing as being too good for your own good.
So because Simone Biles was way better than everybody and she could do things that everybody else couldn't do? Or is it because that she's Black? Because I just talked about the last MVP of the NBA, Joker, right? A lot of people were saying the exact same thing about him. Like, oh, he already won one. Like SGA should have got that one. Are people racist who said that? Like, you know what's so interesting about somebody like Jamil Hill? You would think that she would be very sensitive of somebody like Caitlin Clark in the position that she's in, being in a sport that's dominated by amazing Black women. Dominated by amazing Black women. But and all the stuff that she takes, all the fouls that they were committing against her, the technical fouls that were committed against her higher than any other player. You would think that Jamil Hill would be very sensitive of that, right? Well, let's pivot a little bit. Let's pivot a little bit, and hopefully I can get to the point that I'm trying to show y'all. Yep, Jamil Hill's attempt to erase a past Caitlin Clark comment. Let's take a listen.
I'm not so sure any other player in the WNBA has that dynamic. So, and again, there's a difference between.
I want to run it back just a little bit. Let's back it up just a little bit. Back it up. Hold on. Let's back it up just a little bit.
Spagnuolo being mentioned for NFL jobs.
He just
on the job he's done.
He's all candidates are on. Let me make I love this. Jamel Hill got busted, Steve. She got exposed once again. It looks like in September, Jamel sent a lengthy tweet saying Caitlin Clark doesn't get the same hate as Black women in the WNBA. After Caitlin Clark's alleged stalker was arrested, Jamel Hill tried to quietly delete the post, but the internet never forgets. Let's read Jamel Hill's deleted tweet on Caitlin Clark. I'll do my best voice here, even though it always tends to be the same voice for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't like to play the oppression Olympics, but has CC had to delete her social media accounts? No. But her teammate Alea Boston did. CC has given out a few hard shots herself, talked trash, jawed with the refs, and yet anytime she is subjected to physical play, a hard foul or trash talk, opposing players are absolutely villainized. She is not constantly subjected to racial slurs and whatever hate she does experience. She is not told to toughen up or that her feelings don't matter. She is not subjected to both sidesisms, nor are people trying to justify any hatred against her. That's the difference. That's Jamel Hill.
Yo, why are we acting as if the last NCAA Women's Championship game with Caitlin Clark and her Iowa Hawkeyes against South Carolina, Dawn Staley's South Carolina team, where nobody even knew a player on the South Carolina team, but every Black person that I spoke to, not every Black person, 90% I'd say, were rooting for South Carolina to win the championship without knowing any player on their team, and they knew who Caitlin Clark was, liked how Caitlin Clark played, amazed by, how can you not be amazed by how Caitlin Clark has played? But the only reason they were rooting against her is because Caitlin Clark is white and on an all-white team, and South Carolina had a Black coach and a Blacker team, I guess you would say, with mostly or all Black women on it. Why are we acting like this didn't happen? but then you want to play the victim Olympics, oppression Olympics, whatever you want to call it, saying what you're trying to avoid, but what you've actually been doing, making a career out of in a lot of ways. Why are it like, how can you bring racism into a conversation between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen that's not even there? You didn't even prove it. You didn't even prove anything. Matter of fact, you brought up more points, in my opinion, that take away race being in the conversation, and just brought up a couple, one racist thing or something that I'm sure y'all will call racist, that one sports commentator of a team said, and relate that to the MVP race between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. But then you have absolutely no empathy when it comes to Caitlin Clark. And matter of fact, you do the opposite. You jump on here and say that Caitlin Clark is not going through the same things that her black teammates go through.
She's tried to delete that tweet, Steve. The internet discovered it. And look, Cece, someone got arrested for stalking her and, making all kinds of, it's not quite, remember when Kennedy Carter and Angel Reese said, oh my God, they tried to assassinate us outside our bus, and the video dropped, and it was some guy that asked a simple question and, was like 10 feet away walking behind them. It's like, that was the assassination attempt? Anyway, your thoughts on Jamel Hill getting cold busted here?
Yeah, that wasn't exactly JFK in Dallas, that assassination attempt. Just on that tweet that Ms. Hill wrote, she doesn't play in the victim Olympics? Are you kidding me? She's won more gold medals than Carl Lewis and Michael Phelps. She's the greatest of all time at it.
The Simone Biles of the oppression Olympics.
You know what? That's a better one. That's a better one. Here, and by the way, the biggest story was, because I saw videotape of that guy in handcuffs. I just want to let our audience know that was not Jason Whitlock who was stalking Caitlin Clark. We just want to make that very clear. That was the biggest takeaway.
I don't know. You know what my message would be? Getting back to what we started off the video discussing, Joe Biden turning power over to Donald Trump in 5 days. Let's control the things that are in our power. Let's stop getting caught up in all the fear mongering, the race baiting, being ignorant, not seeking information for ourselves. Because what do we always say that people want us? The people that want to take advantage of us, the people that need us to believe in them and to support them so they'll have more power. What do they want us? They want us dumb and ignorant. They want us fearful, and they want us unhealthy. Those three things are how the elites make a lot of money. Those three things are how politicians use a lot of power. And then they make a lot of money because the elites obviously have to rely on them to sway us one way or another. This is what ends up happening. So let's worry about the things that are in our control. Let's not worry about, and when I say worry, let's not put time, effort, and energy into complaining, trying to make things fair, trying to level the playing field. Let's actually see what happens if we put that time, effort, and energy into just trying to win, building foundational skills that will put us in a better position to win, regardless of whether things are 100% even and the playing field is 100% level. It's never going to be that. Matter of fact, shame on it if anybody's trying to convince you that you need to be worrying about making the playing field level and that's the only way that you can succeed. You should look at that person and never trust them. Never trust them. There's plenty of people that are winning, even if things are not fair. Oh, things are racist? Okay. Okay. Check ball. Like, what do you want me to say? Things are racist? Okay. If I'm playing basketball against somebody, oh, it's racist? All right, well,
You still got to put the ball in the basket. I still got to put the ball in the basket. It is what it is. You think I'm a waste time, waste years talking about, this rim's higher, or why does my rim not have the net in it? Yo, okay, cool. How about this? Let's change up the rules. Whoever wins, you get to pick which basket you shoot at. So let's figure out if we got to be better, if we got to be this, if we got to be that. Let's win. And then when we win, we'll start shooting at the basket with the net. We'll start being able to, that same privilege that we complain about other people from having, then we can provide some of that privilege to our kids, maybe, if we decide to. Maybe we don't even want them to have the privilege. Maybe we want them to learn the lessons and the values that come from maybe not having the privilege. Maybe that's the case. I'm just sick of us, and I'm asking, let me change the language a little bit. I'm just asking us just to give it a shot. Try to just control the controllables. Try to just focus on the things that are in your control. Try not to get caught up in all the fear mongering, the race baiting, this not being fair, this group pinned against this group. Let's just try not to do those things. And let's see what happens with our lives, regardless of anybody else, regardless of who's in office, regardless of who's in this position, regardless of all that. Regardless of, RFK Jr., I'm so happy that he's taken over. He's going to make America healthy again. It didn't matter whether RFK Jr. is in office or somebody else is in office. I'm going to do my due diligence and try to be the healthiest person that I can be. With RFK there, I'm happy. It's going to change the culture, shift some things around, hopefully. But I'm not putting everything on these politicians. I'm not putting all my faith and my livelihood and whether or not I can be successful on a politician or anybody else. It is what it is. This is sports, right? Some people are born, you may have to go up against another player that has better athletic ability than you, that was just born taller than you, stronger, whatever that may be. It doesn't matter. Figure out a way to compete. Nobody wants to hear all that. That's the energy that maybe if we shifted to for 2025, let's just try it out. See how it impacts our personal lives. Don't do it for anybody else. Just do it for you. And then watch how that energy that you used to focus on complaining or trying to make things fair, watch how that energy attracts new opportunities. Watch how that energy attracts new people. Shift things. That's what's going to shift things. Putting out a new energy is the only thing that's going to bring back a new energy. And let's just see what happens. Like the old what's the Everest you're sitting on the couch, you're on the phone anyway, you ain't got nothing to lose. You're sitting there, you ain't got nothing to lose, like Trump said. Just try something different, see what happens. Everything can change in it. I was listening to this Larry June, I think that's the guy's name, the artist, listening to an interview of his. He said, everything can change in a year. Try something new for a year. We've been doing the whole civil rights, the whole fair, the whole race. We've been doing that. We already did that. It hasn't worked. It hasn't worked. Let's try something different. Maybe be a proud American. I don't know. To each their own. You decide. But we're gonna wrap it up. Since we started at 8, I'm going to let y'all go. AKA I'm gonna go. But before we end the show, of course, we have to do our 45 seconds for those that just are tapping in today for the first time. Well, everybody make sure that you like. That's going to help, But for those that haven't tapped in with us, we always end every show with 45 seconds of just clearing your mind, getting your breath work, meditating, manifesting, do whatever it is you need to do. Don't focus on anything. Focus on something. Whatever it is that you need to do, just take 45 seconds to just breathe, move on. Don't get caught up in the emotions of maybe things that we discussed today. Just clear your mind and by the time you open your eyes, just have an optimistic viewpoint about yourself. your success, your life, the things that you're looking to accomplish. Change your viewpoint. So let's do 45 seconds. If you're in a safe place, close your eyes. Breathing in positive energy, exhaling all the negative BS. Let's start now. All right, last deep breath, inhaling positive. Exhaling negative. Y'all know what we here to do. Elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint, raising our standards, challenging ourselves to become the best leaders we can become, because that's what our village, our tribe, our community, our family need now more than ever, and raising our standards to become that person that can accomplish all of those amazing goals that we set out to accomplish. All right. We may not be able to accomplish them with the person that we are today. We got to grow into that person that's able to accomplish those things, and then have more, is the word audacious, more audacious goals, Maya? Is that the word? Am I using it correctly? Okay. She said I'm using it correctly. Let's have more. Let's have a confident 2025. Let's believe in ourselves. This is where flow meets pressure. I told y'all that before. This is where we can, do the flow thing, but we're going to add a little pressure to that flow. All right. So we're going to go with the wave, but we're going to also, we got a little motor. We got the sails up, giving us that little bit of kick, and on strength and honor, onward and upward. And y'all know what we do. We get to the bag. When we say get to the bag, that's all the things that we got our goal over there, right? But what are the things that we need to collect along the way in order to make sure that we're aligned with achieving that goal and on the right trajectory? That's what I mean when I say what's in your bag. So the things that I focus on in my bag: peace, peace, love, happiness, and then health, wealth, and in everything we do, integrity. Was I about to change that up? I don't know. Yeah, but that's what's in my bag. You decide what's in your bag based on the things that you want to accomplish in life and what's going to make you whole and make you fulfill whatever role you have for you and yours. All right. On that note, I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all Friday at 8 a.m. All right. Have a good one. Ew.